Hello again, everybody. This is Eric Conrad with eReal Estate Corporation, where buyers and sellers connect. Today, this video is about the escrow process. And just so you know, these notes here may be hard to read, probably more for me to remember what I'm talking about. There should be captions to explain where we are in this whole process. Anyway, escrow process. This is once we've submitted an offer and it's been accepted, we want to buy that property, but we have to go through a bunch of steps to make it happen. So here it is in the short time frame I have here. Number one, escrow is a third-party entity manager. It really manages the entire process between the seller, the buyer, the loan company, the title company, many different parts and players involved in escrow and in the escrow process. And escrow company is the one that kind of brings everybody together. So opening escrow. When an offer is accepted, the listing agent who holds the listing of the property will send the purchase contract, and if there are any counter offers also, they will send that to the escrow company, and the seller selects the escrow company, the selling agent, the listing agent, sorry. So they will send all the purchase contract. Escrow in turn will submit what's called the escrow instructions. It's really regurgitating, shall we say, the purchase contract, because it really does have all the information in there. But anyway, it tells every party what they're supposed to do and when they're supposed to do it. Once we have the escrow instructions, we start working through all this stuff. Now, one thing is time to close. In the purchase contract that we submitted as a buyer, we said we're going to close in 30 days, or we're going to close in, excuse me, 45 days. Whatever that time to close is the time frame that we have to get this job done. But what's really important in the whole escrow time frame is what is known as the contingency period. And that's typically written as 17 days. A stronger offer will say 10 days. Or it may say no days. If it's a all-cash offer and there is, there's typically an inspection period because you want to make sure the property is decent. But it can be anywhere from 5 days to 17 days. The standard is 17 days. And during that time, both the buyer and the seller have work to do. So let's start with the buyer first. Number one, the deposit. If you saw the offer process video, you know there's an earnest money deposit that needs to be deposited in escrow right away. So within 3 days of acceptance of the offer, that deposit, the actual check, has to be wired or sent, or give it to me and I'll walk it down there to the escrow company, and they will hold on to that deposit. They will cash it, actually. Inspection. So me as the buyer's agent, I will arrange an inspection with a company that I work with very often. They do great inspections, and what they're looking for is things that could cause problems for you as the buyer in the property. They don't look specifically for mold, but they'll look for evidence of mold, and they'll suggest, well, you need to get a mold contractor out here, look at that. They'll look at the roof, they'll look for leaks, they'll look for cracks in the foundation. And they will supply you with a report that says this is what potentially should be done to get this property up to shape. So that happens right away, and you're involved in that process as the buyer. The appraisal. The lender that we talked about in the buyer video, you have a lender that submitted you with a pre-approval letter. That lender is now going to get their appraisal company to come out and run an appraisal on the property. And they're going to look for the comps in the area to see what sold recently, to see if what the offer price that has been accepted is a legitimate price for the area and that they will feel comfortable funding that loan. That's very important. So the appraiser comes out, does their thing. They're also going to offer, once the appraisal is done, the lender is going to give you a conditional approval. That's good news, because that says that the appraisal came in good and they're good to fund this. They seem like they're good to fund. They haven't done anything yet except the loan looks good for them to fund. So that's the contingency period for the buyer. On the seller side, they've got to get a termite inspection. And they also have to submit reports and disclosures. If it's a condominium, they have to submit HOA information, things of that sort. They have to fill out a property questionnaire stating do they know any known defects on the property. So they have to state what they know about the property. These all have to be signed and all that good stuff. So typically in the 17-day period, these things are happening and these things are happening. Once we get past the 17-day period, then we submit a removal of contingencies if everything looks good. If everything does not look good, we either extend the contingency period or we cancel the contract. Cancel the contract, deposit goes back to the buyer, and we go looking for more houses. Hopefully everything looked good and we're moving forward. Now, one thing to note here on the inspection is they may come up and say, hey, the roof is bad. Well, we can request repairs. The buyer can request repairs. That can cause some issues with the lender, and there are ways around that, but the main thing to note about the inspection is that you know what you're getting into. Okay, once we've gone through the contingency period, all we're waiting for the next 13 to 30 days is for that lender to do the final funding. Once they say they can go to fund, we can ask for close of escrow. And that could be anywhere in that time frame of 30 to 45 days. A lot of times, most of the time, it's done early. And they're done early, and you can get into your property early, and that's great. And once we do that, we close, you sign your final papers, get your keys, move into your house. This is Eric Conrad with eReal Estate Corporation. I look forward to seeing you on another video, and I look forward to working with you very soon. Take care.